it's Marta. Welcome back in Building the Apps with the help of SubQuery. The next lesson is about introduction to SubQuery and Moonbeam integration. So let's jump in. So in this lesson, we want to spend some time on discussing problems that DApp developers are facing and how SubQuery can help them. So the first problem is that querying data from blockchain is not really efficient. So if you want to build a modern, complex, intuitive application that is user-friendly, developer-friendly, and actually attracts people from all the other industries, also non-technical folks, you have to have tools that developer can use to achieve this. You need to query data fast. You need to make it efficient. Why it's even a problem? So blockchain is not very well designed when it comes to data querying. It's perfect for data storing, but not for querying. It can take up to weeks to query some data, and it's definitely not sustainable. It's definitely not efficient. We need something faster. So this would be the first problem. And of course, the data on blockchain will only grow. So there will be more and more data, and the whole process will be slower and slower. So this is a continuous struggle that DApp developers have, and that's why we need to think about other solutions. So another problem that DApp developers have is that it's quite hard to query data across different chains. So every chain has its own protocol, its own APIs, data structure, and they're not really compatible. And this is a huge struggle. And in the context of Moonbeam, we are looking at two different data layers. So substrate data layer, which is the underlying blockchain. It's quite different from EVM and smart contracts that are run on top of it. So yeah, that's quite hard because at the end, as a result, you have different data structures, different ways of handling it, and it's really not that easy to combine those two. And what would be very helpful is having all this information in one place. And yeah, the good example of why it's such a trouble is that current block explorers they're covering only one environment. So if you want to check anything on the block, you will get different results using different explorers. So what you need to do is to double check, cross check everything, and to make sure that you gather all the required data. And it will be absolutely great to have it all unified within one place, and this is another problem that SubQuery solves. So yeah, with SubQuery you can stop worrying about creating your own indexer, developing it, and then maintaining it. So you're saving even weeks of development time. And another thing is that you don't have to worry about is the fact that there is a solution for unifying all the data coming from different chains, and you don't have to worry about different protocols, different APIs and data structure. So it's on us. So what is it? What SubQuery does? SubQuery is an open, flexible, reliable indexer that allows you to take some data from blockchain, transform it into the shape you needed, and then power up your application. You can think about it as a custom API for your DApp. So what really happens behind the curtain is that rather asking each block for some information in real time and scanning entire blockchain, SubQuery takes just part of this data and then transform it into the way you need it, store it in an efficient storage that you can then query using GraphQL API. This is how easy it is, and this is the basic setup and the core usage of SubQuery. Let's have a look at the classic DApp stack. So on the bottom, we will have relay chain like Polkadot, and then parachain like Moonbeam, and then we'll have virtual machine running all that smart contracts. We of course need RPC interface provider, and then we have presentation layer of the application. You may take advantage of some decentralized data storage or oracles, But what is also missing in this landscape is actually a data indexer provider. And this is where SubQuery fits. So SubQuery allows you to take the data from blockchain. So you will still interact with blockchain through RPC provider, but you will retrieve your data from blockchain with the usage of SubQuery. SubQuery is leading multi-chain data indexer. We focused on 4 different design principles. We needed to make sure that SubQuery is fast. This is a key factor and super important part for every DApp developer. So it has to be fast, it has to be efficient, but it also has to be flexible. We believe that in order to make your application stand out from your competitors is actually having access to data and specific data that you need. So that's why we made SubQuery flexible, and we made sure that it's super easy to customize it and tailor it to your needs. It's also open, so everyone can run it, use it, edit it, and we'll keep it this way because we want to help people building as many projects as possible, and that's why we believe in open source technology. And it's also universal. We engineer it this way that it allows to query across different leading layer 1 blockchains. So of course we started within Polkadot, and SubQuery is huge there, and also other substrate-based chain, but we also expand beyond that. So SubQuery supports Cosmos, Avalanche, and Algorand, and stay tuned for more. We are always in search for emerging, exciting ecosystems that we can support, and we see great potential in. So let's take a look at how SubQuery project runs actually. So it starts with extracting the data from the blockchain using the filters chosen by you. So you ask for specific data. Then the data is transformed and tailored to your needs. So it has the shape as you want it, and you can do it multiple times. It's perfectly mutable, unlike the data on chain, which is immutable. And then you save the data in a high performance database, and it's persisted, it's queryable, you can have access to it all the time. The last step would be to actually query the data with the usage of GraphQL syntax. And yeah, so you query the data that you've chosen to take off the blockchain. And that would be the whole process. And this is how the SubQuery project runs. Let's take a look at data diversity in the perspective of a DApp developer, and especially in the context of Moonbeam. So your DApp may have multiple data sources from different chains, and that is a problem. You need to unify this data, or you need to develop individual indexers and maintain those solutions for each protocols, because each protocol has its own data structure. There are different APIs related with blockchain, so there is a problem. And let's just imagine that you have a wallet, you have a keeper and account, and you're using it on multiple platforms and services, and you want to have all the data associated with this account in one place. So you may have some Ethereum balance, you may have some DOT, you may have something on Moonriver, and you want to have it all as one data source in one place, so you can have a clear overview. And this is actually not that easy because of the incompatibility of the substrate and EVM layers data. And it's quite complex for a developer to actually develop this type of data sourcing. And the SubQuery solution to this problem would be to provide a core data service for Moonbeam, so that SubQuery becomes a layer between blockchain and your DApp and serves as a one source of truth, in a way, like a one source of data. So thanks to SubQuery, you can have data coming from different sources available in one place, which can be very useful, and so that you don't have to worry about all that we've discussed previously. There are a lot of great initiatives and awesome projects that are already built or being built with the help of SubQuery. we already discussed some use cases when we talked about blockchain explorers, but there are also DEXs, there are wallets, there are other DApps, so plenty of interesting projects. I recommend checking our SubQuery Explorer, where you can see existing projects being built with SubQuery and hosted by SubQuery. I will tell you more about that later. The link to SubQuery Explorer will be below this video, so take a look. Now coming back to problem specific for Moonbeam context and the fact that substrate and EVM data layers are separated and require different APIs and extensive handling to work together. So yep, this is the problem that SubQuery solves, and let's see how we did it. So SubQuery offers specific support for Moonbeam EVM that allows you to take some data, raw data from Substrate, and actually present it in a way that it's EVM Ethereum developer friendly. So if you are an EVM Ethereum developer with close to no knowledge about Substrate, or even no knowledge, and you found yourself on Moonbeam and you want to get access to some Substrate data, you will be able to do it with the help of SubQuery. This is it. Thanks for joining. I see you in the lesson 2. Bye.